What's up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? Your boy Vestman, your vanity streamer, usually goes, where, on a platform that you see me catching up on everything else. This, I'm doing sometimes a little podcast around that I didn't do for a while. I recorded the podcast like on here, and I'll send it to you guys on YouTube. But this is opinionated. Opinionated means how do you feel and what do you feel, and you don't need to answer it, or you could just put a like if you like, but you don't need to answer the description or reply back to it. Opinionated is your kind of your critic mode and something else. So I want to do a quick thing here. Since I didn't do this for a while, I'm going to do a little bit of a quick thing and hopefully I could do it. So we know the Power Rangers, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and all the stuff. We know Saban did this, Saban did that, and then it was sold to Fox later on in the year, and then it got sold to Disney, and then went back to Saban, and then it was sold to Hasbro. And the last stop of the Power Rangers was Cosmic Fury. That was the 30-year mark. For 30 years of Power Rangers been on the force with, and we know they use village and somewhere else or something, and they try to make it a hands-on thing, but they had to use and how to do it because of the budget reason. But here's a dilemma. But you kind of also made a little promise to make a live TV show, and sometimes promise are not kept, but you don't know what other promise that you broke. Maybe it could have been another family member children to want to see the Power Rangers and see. So now I heard that Power Rangers is canceled and they're not gonna make any Power Rangers on there, but they holding the thing like the cells and the toys and all that. To me, it doesn't make any sense. Why, if you can't make the Power Rangers, then you shouldn't have the toy line, right? That's a different story. But Hasbro has this and Hasbro does this. And I know Hasbro has Transformers and I know Hasbro has a lot of stuff. But for Power Rangers for 30 years and you kind of want to keep it in there, but then Netflix took you guys out because the person that made the deal went to the sky. Like we don't know the story. Come on. And the other the other story is we'll see. Will it come back in 2026 or 2027? You made this whole hype up to have Power Rangers here and there, and how to see or how to use without using another footage, but then there's budget things and all that. Then why buy Power Rangers if you can't make certain promises? You always could make certain deals on another streaming service. There's a streaming service you can go back to is Netflix. There's Hulu. There's Pluto. Why don't you ask Pluto? There's, and I don't want to say it, but there's Paramount. There's NBC. I don't know if PBS is owned by another company, or something. Let's see. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna say what. I'm gonna say who owns PBS. Oh, you could go to PBS, Public Broadcasting Service. That usually doesn't go too much um commercials only when it's needed, and you could do that because if I remember a TV show like that and they made it into a story and it was like a little movie when somewhere on that channel, it was called the Narnia. It was the old Narnia, and then they made it upgraded the movie. Even that it's probably a 3 hour show or movie. But when they made the Narnian this way and all that, there's always a way to have a good television, maybe across the United States. If you do it from LA, you could do it or bring a tape to the PBS, and that should have been good. Maybe you made a deal out of that. Who knows? Let's see about the there's another one who owns I don't know if there's another one. I think it's WNI. I'm gonna say what channel is usually Sesame Street, right? Because that's another channel. Let's see. It's PBS. That's another. Um, I know it's channel 21. It was channel 21 at the time. Um, it's also another PBS. Okay, what's channel 13? Channel 13. Okay, so channel 13 was WNET. It's probably local PBS. So it's a sister and brother channel. So hey, maybe they could do that and have that. They could do like, hey, little commercials there and all that. They could have fine. Power Rangers been on for 30 years and you made a promise to go there for another streaming service or something that is expensive. But then why make a promise that you can't keep? But for young adults, you want to do an animated because it's cheaper. You want to do that. But then also animated could be expensive too. Can it be? Because they got to draw pictures, do a storyboard, and all the other stuff, and use computers and CGI as well. And also, a lot of the even that it might be cheap, but still, you got and then you got to find voice actors, and you got to pay them the voice actor. But then sometimes it switches when you have to find new voice actors. So that doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm getting at, right? And it's hard. Yes, it is hard to do what is get a movie deal or a TV deal. I'm not a TV person deal. I'm not a place. But I've been watching Power Rangers 1993. And the first time I watched the Power Rangers in 1993 when I was coming out of a junior high school, and I was saying, first, I didn't like it because even that the footage looks different. First, I didn't like it. But then when I saw the swords, it was going big. But I know it was a little different with the footage. I know. And sometimes they gotta do like a voiceover and do this and do that and how to get it through or on how to make it better. It's not an easy time or an easy way to feel, right? So so the last Power Ranger was Cosmic Fury. Now I heard that the Power Rangers cancel the series, so that means there's no more Power Rangers or so. How do we fight that to make a young adult to see what plan that could be a Power Ranger fun on a television? They could have go back to Nickelodeon and make that deal. They could have do that with commercial, but I gave you a lot of suggestions, Hasbro. There's Paramount, Skydance, but then I don't know. There's NBC. Channel 7 is owned by Disney, well, mostly. There's TBS, the first time ever could happen. Or you could have asked Spectrum. I think Spectrum has a on-demand channel as well, and they had like a little TV show. I don't know the name of it, but I forgot the name of it. The on-demand channel, Spectrum on demand. Maybe something that would have helped, but who knows? Whatever helps. We hope, but that is the reason. I think the reason is that spending money and you try to make a promise to a young adults and see without making the footage because they were using recycled footage and all the other stuff. And then later on, I know Saban, the years later on, because since the footage was taken, they had to use like a little toy thing and make official effects and how it did that on the shooting area, right? But hey, but I'm just saying you shouldn't give up and don't stop the project when you make certain deals or something. You have a lot of TV deals that you could check. PBS, the W Channel 13 one. There's probably the Ion channel. There's probably the Me TV. There's probably the Comedy Central because sometimes Power Rangers is a comedy. But I think you the promise you didn't keep. You hurt the ones that were so excited to see. And if I ever want to see the Power Rangers again, I would. But another thing is, I know it'll probably be a little bit hurtful because of a person there back and forth and all that situation and all the Power Rangers thing and getting through from there. But I think the Power Rangers should have come to life the best, the way you should for TV. And if you think that's expensive doing the TV, then I think the movie is more expensive if you did it that way. If you was gonna do a movie, I think the TV should have been better. But I know Disney doesn't own. They used to own Power Rangers. Maybe they had if they wanted to get Disney, then they had to go to the legal and do this again to own it again. Would they be in New Zealand or they would be in another place? But then Disney has another one, a TV show, and I have to put it that way back. It's about an animal thing, like a dinosaur, and they have different color suits. But if you look very carefully, everything looked like a hologram. How they did that expression of CGI and all that, but then they made it kind of unique area. I know Disney did this other stuff about looking for a brother or something, or the brother was being hurt, or maybe his brother was a teammate or something. That was another show. But the suggestions I gave you, you shouldn't give up, Hasbro. This is the thing. Power Rangers been on for 30 years. Maybe you should make try to make like a young adult way of Power Rangers. But hey, you never know what could happen. But I think you shouldn't give up. And to me, you cancel and you gave up too soon. That means you're quitters. But if you're not a quitter, you should try again. A year, we waited almost 2 years, and then everything was like, oh, they found some actors in January, February. Hopefully, we could see the new one. Getting excited, and then poof, in the middle of August, no more Power Rangers. When I heard another YouTube thing, to me, it doesn't compute. To me, Hasbro, you gave up too soon and don't have the heart for it, or you just gave up and quit because you say everything is too expensive. Yeah, everything is gonna be too expensive, but you always have a trick to it. What kind of budget could make it for 20 episodes? Or what kind of budget to make it for 30? Or what kind of budget to do 15 episodes and then another 15? 10, 10 is 20, another 10, 30. Could it do it that way? But hey, I'm not filming part. But I'll find out how it's gonna be when I go back to college. Okay. Um. So we talk about the Power Rangers, and we talk about this. Now we're gonna talk about a little bit about SmackDown and Raw. And I know people don't. I know they don't want to hear it. Raw was to me, and I agree with the people that the wrestler that was having a holding the 100-day title didn't fight until SummerSlam, even that she won thanks to her cronies because she can't fight by herself without her cronies. Um, Two, Chelsea Green, a winner of becoming the interim champion. But then I heard the last time they were trying to take the belt away, but then it's always should be fair for 30 days. They should have did that with the other person, Trouble, but they didn't do that, right? Was I don't know if she had like a deal with them or something, and it was not fair for Chelsea Green to lose the belt as well to get ready, and she's earned the hard work that she did in the SummerSlam. Even that she has a broken eye socket or something, she'll get a protective mask or something. I agree with that part, but a champion is always a fighting champion. To me, even though she might be a comic relief, she people getting behind her, be her, and all that other stuff. That is a cool way for her. Even that she has 30 days to defend. The other person didn't defend 30 days. She held the title. She interferes in their matches. She doesn't want to do nothing. She wants to escape from the fight. She wants to run away. To me, just don't be that's my opinion. Opinionated. This is opinionated. If you don't like it, don't need to watch it. Um but I know sometimes it's a storyline, I know it's an act, but hey, I agree in some point to the fans. If you but if you don't want us to complain about it, then make something new about it. Um I'm gonna tell you, I have this PlayStation 4 game, and a friend of mine buys this game for me for WWE 2K 25, 24, 26, or something. I I try to play it more when I didn't have the computer. And the funny thing about it, if I make matches or something, I have this idea of matches, right? Do a fatal four way with a time limit. Do a fatal five way with TLC match or something. There's a way of uniqueness and opportunity, but I know it's very hard to do and all that. But the thing about that, wrestling is wrestling. But the more thing about it that I'm heard about and very hurt is about Hasbro gave up on Power Rangers to do a live action animated stuff. If they're doing comic book, that could be fine. But I'm saying animated stuff, you gotta find a voiceover person, a talk voiceover. You gotta say like, "Power Rangers, come to the command center immediately," or something like that, right? Or the thing about that, you have to figure out who's gonna do the voiceover on the leader. Is gonna be for animated. Would it be like a young adult animated thing or something? We have to figure out that plan, right? It's not gonna work if we don't try, right? So I hope everything is well and dandy. I hope everything is good. Um, you will see me tomorrow on Twitch. I'll send the information into all the social media. And I took a 3 day break from streaming as well. I needed a break. Am I perfect? No. Um, we will do what we have to do. Um, hopefully, I'll try my best to do a little podcast here and there by me recording it. But I think for me is Power Majors should have not give up that easily. And I think Hasbro, in my opinion, gave up easily for almost a year and a half, and they were fighting for it. But you got other TV stores. Think about what other TV stores around the United States. But to me, it's like you gave up too soon. You gave up. It would be nice if Power Rangers came to life. You have a woman leader, more like a woman leader of a remake or reboot, and a woman Tommy, and that would have been nice as well. But who knows? And the rest, you had to figure it out. Um, I'm just saying like it's not easy what to do, and I could probably understand that because of budget reason. But then if you think about budget, I think you shouldn't do the toy line. Should have did that a little bit separate from the toy lines. I think you should have did the movie. My opinion is you should have did the TV first, and then see how much you're gonna get out of that profit, and maybe a toy line. But who knows? I'm not a mathematical thing. That's why you have producers, right? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hearing about opinionated stuff. Again, you don't need to hear this, what I say about or something. I'll probably do another opinionated maybe next week, and hopefully we'll do a little better, right? Again, I'm not perfect. I'll see you around. Ciao, everybody.